Hello friends, myself Dr. Veena Sakardande with new session today from Medical Surgical Nursing, that is from the nursing field. And today we will be discussing about one of the important topic from Medical Surgical Nursing, that is shock. So how we are going to study about the disease condition shock, or we can say it is an emergency condition. So first we will see what is shock, that is definition of shock, what are the causes of shock, what are the risk factor of shock, what is a classification, what are the types of shock as per the cause or reason. Then we will see pathophysiology in general about the shock. Then diagnostic assessment like emergency investigations and then plan investigation for shock. What are the sign and symptom, how we are going to identify the patient with shock with sign and symptom. Then we will see management, which is categorized into goal of management first, second emergency management, then we will go for medical management, which will include pharmacological management, dietary management and therapeutic management, and then most important, that is nursing management, which we are going to see the nursing assessment of the patient with shock, different type of shock, then what are the investigation and what is the role of nurse, then therapeutic management, under that what is the role of the nurse, in the diet also what is the role of nurse, and then next very important, nursing process, what is the nursing process, what are the priority nursing problems, how we are going to identify the problem and formulate the nursing diagnosis and plan the care for the patient. Definition of shock. As we know, shock is an emergency situation where we need to be very alert and ready for caring the patient, where we need to keep everything ready like drugs and all emergency equipments. So what happens in the shock? There is an inability of the circulatory system to provide oxygen and nutrient all over the body, mainly to the each tissue and organ, and basically the vital organs. And one more problem, there will be a problem with the removal of metabolites or waste product. So shock is an emergency situation. We need to be very alert and expert and skillful while providing the care. Next we will see etiological factors of shock. So first factor is hemorrhage. So what is hemorrhage? Hemorrhage is a bleeding, blood loss, maybe because of injury, trauma, accident, post-operative, menstrual bleeding, gastrointestinal bleeding. Second is amniotic fluid embolism. Amniotic fluid embolism mainly during the delivery or antenatal period there will be a embolism. Then third is a cerebrovascular accident. Cerebrovascular accident leads to increase in the blood pressure, interference with the blood pressure and decreased blood circulation and oxygenated blood to the brain. Next, pneumothorax. Pneumothorax mainly it is a related to respiratory system. When patient is having pressure or pneumothorax infection, there will be air collection, so leads to decreased blood circulation or pulmonary circulation, there will be a problem and patient goes into shock. Next etiological factor, septicemia. Septicemia is a infection, maybe infection into blood to the organ, and main microorganism responsible for this septicemia is gram-negative organism like E. coli, protease and pseudomonas. Next is a rupture ovarian cyst. Rupture ovarian cyst mainly relate to rupture, perforation, infection, and there is a decreased blood circulation towards the heart, then lungs and to the brain, leads to shock. Next is a prolonged infusion of concentrated medicine. Some of the medicine which are administered for the many more hours. So also it leads to problem with the circulation, metabolism, and patient may go in shock. Next is a prolonged infusion of intravenous dextrose also. This is also one of the cause for circulatory system where there is a interference with the blood circulation of oxygenated blood. Next is coronary thrombus. What is coronary thrombus? there is a thrombus formation, clot formation or obstruction within the coronary arteries. When there is a obstruction to the coronary arteries, there is a decreased blood circulation towards the heart muscles. When the heart is not functioning normally, there is a dysfunctioning with the cardiac output and lack of blood circulation towards the vital organs and periphery. Then next is a severe allergic reaction. Allergic reaction can be because of some like drugs, IV fluids, some foods or some bites leads to allergic reaction, and patient will have effect on the respiratory and circulatory system. Next is the poisoning. Poisoning is major issue related to shock when patient goes to like anaphylactic shock, and patient will have an interference with the oxygen supply and again blood supply to the vital organs and periphery, where patient will represent in the sign and symptom of shock. Next is the pulmonary embolism. Pulmonary embolism, there is obstruction in the pulmonary circulation which leads to interference with the oxygen pulmonary circulation, and patient may go in shock. So these are the some of the etiological factors of shock in general. Next we will see pathophysiology of shock in general, and during the part 3 and 2 we are going to have the different management of different type of shock. So this is a pathophysiology in general. Like first there will be etiological factor as per type of shock. So mainly there are many types of shock: hypovolemic shock, anaphylactic shock, cardiogenic shock, neurologic shock. So as per the etiological factor, there will be a inadequate perfusion, that means decrease oxygen supply, nutrients, tissue oxygen exchange leads to decreased circulatory blood volume, where there is a decreased blood circulation, so it leads to circulatory blood volume also less. Then cell hypoxia, which leads to decreased venous return. Cell hypoxia, that means there is decreased oxygen level within the cells and tissues, which leads to decreased venous return. Next, lactic acid accumulation, which lead to anaerobic metabolism. So there will be anaerobic metabolism which leads to metabolic acidosis. So first initially it will be at the local level, then it goes to the general level, that is a metabolic acidosis. And next is a vasoconstriction. Vasoconstriction which leads to failure of the pre-capillary sphincters. Mainly what is vasoconstriction? Vessels will be constricted, which lead to failure of pre-capillary sphincter, and then there is a increased blood circulation to the periphery as compared to the vital organs, and this is a major issue where there is a decreased blood circulation to the vital organs leads to failure or dysfunctioning of the vital organs like heart, kidney, liver, lungs and brain. Then cell membranes dysfunction, which leads to failure of sodium pump. There is no production exchange of the sodium, leads to decreased cardiac outcome. So there is a blood pressure, normally there is a contraction and relaxation will be interfered, and there is decreased cardiac output, which leads to decreased blood flow and decreased blood supply to oxygen to the tissues and organs, and which is called as anoxia. And patient is showing sign and symptoms of the shock, that is cold extremities and difference or problem with the vital signs. Next we will see phases of shock. Mainly there are 4 phases of shock: first phase, second phase, third phase and fourth phase. So we will see one by one. First phase. So this first phase is called as sympathetic stimulation, mainly related to neurological system and passing the impulses. So when what happens, initially there is a response to the blood loss or hemorrhage, which leads to peripheral vasoconstriction. Vasoconstriction, that means constriction of vessels. And why it happen? To compensate or to maintain blood supply to the vital organ. And vital organs are like heart, lung, kidney, brain and liver. So basically to compensate, to increase the blood circulation to the vital organs and to decrease the peripheral blood circulation, this mechanism happen. Then what happened? There will be a decreased blood circulation leads to low blood pressure, which stimulate stretch receptor and gives message to the vasomotor center that we have to compensate with the low oxygen and blood. Basically, the sign and symptom or clinical features of these first phase are tachycardia, that means increased heart rate more than 100, 110. There will be pallor and tachypnea, that is patient may have a breathing problems. Second phase, that is phase of compensation. So what happens in phase 2? It is a compensation phase. Why it is said? So body try to compensate with the low oxygen and low blood supply. So first what happens? Increase heart rate and contraction of the heart. So heart try to pump more and more blood and increase heart rate so that each and every cell and vital organs must get blood circulation, oxygenated blood circulation. So blood is diverted mainly to the vital organ and there is decreased blood circulation to the periphery. So we can see the patient's periphery or there is a cold extremities. Next is the blood is a microcirculatory unit which is squeezed out. So what happens? There is a mainly blood circulation goes to the central part of the body, that is vital organ, and peripherally there is a decreased blood circulation. Then this phase mainly it happens like there will be a temporary fall into hydrostatic pressure where the body is trying to compensate with the low blood pressure. Third phase of shock, that is a phase of cellular damage and danger of the death. So here there will be inappropriate or inadequate managed hemorrhagic shock leads to prolonged tissue hypoxia and damage to the tissue and organ or mainly vital organ. If shock is not managed very well or there is a patient is going into complications, so there will be mainly some complications patient may have. So it is called as a cellular damage or danger of death phase. So what happens? First is a metabolic acidosis. What happens? Metabolic acidosis, it because of anaerobic metabolism initiated after lack or decrease of oxygen. When there will be metabolic acidosis, when there is a decreased blood circulation, decreased oxygen level in the each cell and the vital organs. Second, arteriolar dilation of arteries, small arteries. It is caused by the accumulation of metabolites. Mainly there is accumulation of metabolites which are not excreted, waste product or metabolites. So it leads to like obstruction in or accumulation in the arteries, which are leading to pooling or stagnation of blood into capillaries, and there will be leakage of fluid into tissue. So these are the two in the first slide, metabolic acidosis and arteriolar dilation, which happens into third phase. So continuation with this, there will be a disseminated intravascular coagulation. That means problem with the coagulation process. There will be clotting or thrombus formation, and because of this there is a release of thromboplastin, which leads to damage to the cells or tissues. So disseminated intravascular coagulation. Next is a cardiac failure. Why there will be a cardiac failure? Because there is a decreased blood circulation to the heart itself. So if there is a decreased blood circulation to the heart cannot pump normally. There is a no contraction and relaxation process. Circulation and transport of oxygen is inadequate. And if recovery from the acute phase occurs, if from phase 1 and phase 2 patient is recovered, but there will be some residual tissue damage, mainly in the renal area and pituitary area, which lead to necrosis. Necrosis is a lack of blood circulation and there is a dead cells. And this phase is also called as a phase of death. If it is not treated on time, patient doesn't come to the hospital, patient doesn't compensate with all phases, patient may go in cardiac shock and patient may die. So these are the three phases of shock in short. Phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3. Classification of shock. So mainly we are going to see different shock, definition, causes and pathophysiology and the management of different type of shock. So mainly classification of shock. that is hypovolemic shock because of dehydration, blood loss, cardiogenic shock related to cardiac functioning, neurologic shock, anaphylactic shock, and septic shock. So these all different type of shocks, its management we are going to see in part 2 and part 3.